you're looking to dive into topics on how to live a happier, healthier, more fit, and long lifespan, then you've come to the right podcast. Livin the Dream with me, Coach Damian Evans. Together, we will explore the topics on all things health, fitness, and wellness. Together, we will be lifelong learners on this journey to living the ultimate dream. What up, Dream Team? Coach D here, coming at you from beautiful sunny San Diego, and welcome back to the Livin the Dream podcast. And today, we are throwing it back. On Throwback Thursday, we dive into some of the best episodes from the archives, packed with timeless strategies to help you crush your health, fitness, and wellness goals. These episodes might be from the past, but the lessons still hit hard today. Whether it's a mindset shift, a fitness tip, or a nutrition hack, this throwback is here to remind you just how far you've come and how much further we can go. We're diving into one of the most popular and eye-opening episodes called Why Am I Gaining Weight While Working Out? Why am I gaining weight while working out? This topic resonates with so many of you because, let's be real, there's nothing more frustrating than putting in all that work, sweating it out at the gym, and then stepping on the scale and only seeing that number, it went up instead of down, or it didn't change. But here's the thing, weight gain isn't always a bad thing. And in today's throwback, I break down exactly why this might happen. Before we dive in, I want to address some extra insights here to this episode. One key concept that ties directly into what you'll be hearing today is called reverse dieting. If you've ever felt like your metabolism is stuck or that eating more leads to immediate weight gain, reverse dieting might be the solution that you need. This involves gradually increasing your calorie intake over a period of time to reset your metabolism and support your fitness and body composition goals. So here are a few quick tips for reverse dieting. Gradually increase your daily calories by 50 to 100 per week while monitoring how your body responds. This keeps weight gain steady and controlled because weight gain is going to be the goal here, and we'll talk about why. So gradually increase your daily calories, which requires you to track what your average calories are right now. So track without changing anything, and then just add 50 to 100 calories per week. Do you know how little 50 to 100 calories per week is? It's a very small amount. Then prioritize whole, nutrient-dense foods to fuel your workouts and support recovery. So you're slowly adding in energy, calorie intake, while minimizing ultra-processed foods and prioritizing whole, nutrient-dense foods. This is going to help to fuel your physical activity and support your recovery. Then pay attention to how you feel. Improved energy, better performance, and a healthier relationship with food. These are all great signs that you're on the right track. Nothing to do with the scale. And let's reframe the weight gain that you might experience during this process. It's probably not fat gain. Unless you're going way over your calorie intake that you have been eating, it's often either water retention, what's called glycogen storage, where your muscles are filling up with energy, or muscle growth. You could be creating muscle, especially if you're really putting in the effort and doing resistance training and strength training correctly. These are all positive signs that your body is adapting. If you're getting stronger, if you're preparing yourself to support your long-term health, these are all things to reframe why weight gain is a good thing, especially at the beginning of your journey and especially when you're going on this reverse diet. This ties perfectly into what we'll explore in this Throwback Thursday episode: inflammation, muscle gain, the role of stress, and why weight isn't the best metric for progress, why it isn't always the best metric for progress. It is a metric, but it's usually not a great one. Whether you're just starting out or you feel like you've hit a plateau, this episode is packed with actionable advice to help you stay on track and feel confident in your journey. All right, let's hit rewind and jump into why am I gaining weight while working out? For today, let's discuss reasons for gaining weight when starting to work out. After that, we can go through all the different metrics that you can use
for measuring progress towards your health and fitness goals, and we can decide which one is best for you to use. And we'll finish off by giving you some action items that you can implement today to help get you to where you want to be. So first, what are some reasons for gaining weight when starting to work out? One of the more common responses that you're going to hear is that you're losing body fat, but you're also gaining muscle. And muscle weighs more than fat, so maybe that's why that scale hasn't moved. This could be a possibility. I mean, you do have the capability of creating a couple pounds of muscle per month here or there, but it's not that big of an impact. It's more about the inflammation to the muscle and the water weight added to that muscle. And this is important to understand. When you're putting on lean muscle mass, you could be filling that muscle with glycogen, which is fantastic. You're giving it the energy that you need to move. You could also be creating lean muscle tissue, and this is like the gold standard. This is what you want, right? Building that beautiful lean muscle tissue, but that takes a lot of time. I've been working my whole life to put on muscle mass. It's been over a decade of training, and I only still have this small amount that I have earned. So if it's not a whole lot about gaining the muscle, it is a little bit about the inflammation, but it also could be more about your diet. When you start lifting weights, you're releasing hormones that tell your body that you're looking to build. And in order for you to build, you have to eat. So yeah, hormones are released that make you hungrier than normal, but that's okay. What you have to be is just aware of it. Remember, you can't outwork a bad diet. Don't even try. You'll do more harm than good. Experts will say you must be in a calorie deficit if you want to lose weight. If you're gaining weight, then you are by definition in a calorie surplus. However, I personally think there's a lot more to it than that. You can't just say eat less calories than you use. That's like saying if you were teaching someone how to be wealthy, why don't you just save more money than you spend? This is way too simplistic, and the body is a complex, holistic organism. When it comes to your diet and your new start of a fitness routine, you got to think about the overcompensation of eating in the form of maybe recovery drinks, protein bars, post-workout shakes, things of that nature. The marketing of these types of products have tricked us into thinking that they're parts of the exercise and fitness routine, but almost all of them are hindering your process to fitness and your progress towards those fat loss goals. What you might also want to consider is that even if you're tracking calories to what you think is an exact amount, when it comes down to food labels, the FDA allows a plus or minus of quite a big range of calories, and usually the reported amount of calories on the labels are less than what's actually in the food. Also, you could be in a calorie deficit all week, Monday through Friday, and maybe you're down a net of 2,500 calories. But then the weekend comes and you go out and you have fun and you eat and drink with friends, and then you have Sunday fun day. Well, it's most likely that you just created a net gain of calories and you counteracted all your hard work over the last week, especially if you're eating out, because restaurants' food tend to have a ton more calories than food that you've prepared on your own. So if you've been putting in the work on most days, but overindulging on just one or two, you could be sabotaging yourself in the long run. This is not to say that you should never go out, never have fun, never have drinks with friends, or any of that. And if you know me, you know that I would never say that. It's about balance. And I know we'll discuss about how to find balance on up-and-coming podcasts. Another reason why you might be gaining weight when you're starting a workout program is stress. This, in my opinion, is one of the largest factors. We are already under a ton of stress from your work, your home, your relationships, etc. When you add a high intense exercise routine, your body doesn't know the difference between you getting chased by a tiger and you wanting to get that six pack. You're adding stress to an already stressed routine. You need to mitigate some of that stress by sleeping, breath work, meditation, and this is not what people usually do when they start working out. This could be a direct impact on the previous reason, diet and snacking and stress eating, also affecting sleep negatively. Less sleep equals less opportunity for adequate recovery. Some people actually believe that when they gain weight from exercise, that it's actually the exercise that is making them fat. This is so not true. And if this is something that you're thinking, I've had a few people tell me this actually. Just be assured that the exercise is helping your health and fitness journey. I hope you trust me on this. It is not making you fat. So, after going through all of these reasons about why you could be gaining weight when you start a workout program, all that I'm really saying is that it's normal. Now, after about 6 to 8 weeks of consistent training, just over a month, there should be a large shift in your weight. If you exceed a weight gain of 5 pounds or more and it does not begin to decrease rapidly after about a month, then you probably are blaming the wrong set of plates. It's definitely not the dumbbells and the barbells that are causing you to gain weight. It's most likely your food plate. If I could give any recommendation with my professional opinion for someone that's just starting their fitness journey, I would tell them to take their scale and throw it away. Weight is definitely not what you should be looking at. There are so many other metrics that you can measure to see if you're progressing towards your health and fitness goals. One of them is body fat percentage, which is much more accurate than weight. It tells you a little bit more in depth on what's actually going on, but that's definitely not the only thing. So, why is weight a terrible metric for health? For those watching the scale day after day, you can create stress because of the large short term fluctuations, and that stress can have a counter effect on your fitness goals. When you're looking at weight, it doesn't tell you exactly what type of body fat you're gaining or losing. Is it body fat? Is it muscle mass? Water weight? Inflammation? You don't know. If you can measure body fat percentage, that's amazing, especially if you have frequent access to things like the in-body machine, DEXA scans, hydrostatic weighing, also called a dunk tank, or modalities of that nature. However, the problem with this is that those modalities are expensive. They aren't very common, and the average person doesn't have access to them on a frequent basis. What I think people get hung up on is this single number, this ideal weight, but there is no ideal weight for a person. So when someone has a goal to be back to their high school weight or they want to weigh what their favorite celebrity weighs, you should be looking at what your personal changes are over time and how you feel and look at each weight. Your 150 pounds could look way different than someone else's, even at the same height and demographic. There are so many different factors. Think about your bone mass, overall body structure, your body fat percentage. You could have two people at a very similar look in terms of overall aesthetics, but who have very different body weights depending on these factors. So if you're losing a ton of weight super fast, I guess, yeah, there is a very small chance that you're losing entirely body fat. Depending on what strategy you're using to lose the weight, whether it's a specific diet or specific exercise program or a specific lifestyle change. But you could also be dropping a ton of water weight, or it could be excess inflammation that you're dropping that you shouldn't have had and it shouldn't have been there in the first place. You could be dropping muscle mass, but this also won't happen very quickly. You could be shocking your body in a way that is novel and creates a huge shift in your metabolism. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing it correctly. And when you stop losing weight because your body adapts to this strategy, then you become frustrated and you'll or become stressed. And then again, you'll have an adverse effect on your overall fitness goal. There are a few types of people that definitely should not use weights as a metric of their health and fitness goals. Number one, if you have an emotional attachment to your weight, if you're a person that diets and you are so obsessive about a specific number that you will only ever be happy once you hit that number, then you should never touch a scale. Weight is only your relationship to gravity. It has very little to do with your level of health. And wanting to be the same weight as your high school weight or the same weight as when you thought you were the healthiest and looked the best, this will help very little, if any at all, towards getting to your healthier, fitter, better lifestyle. And number two, you should not touch a scale. You should not use weight if you're an obsessive weigher. Weighing yourself multiple times per day. When you wake up, after you eat each meal, when you go to bed at night, do not use weight and stop stepping on the scale. Unless you're preparing for a competition or some sort of thing like that, this will have zero impact on helping you get to where you want to be. And in fact, the stress or anxiety that comes from this type of behavior will actually take you further away from where you want to be. Let alone, with all of this, is a ton of wasted time that you could be using doing something beneficial for you. So, if we're not supposed to use weight, then what metrics should we be using for your health? Let's go over a couple of different metrics that we can be using. One of them is called BMI, Body Mass Index. This, in my opinion, is worse than weight. It was created in the 19th century to study the quote unquote normal man through a height to weight ratio. The guy who created it wasn't even a physician, he was just a mathematician. BMI, it's easy to use and great for the large population studies, but it's a terrible way to assess health on an individual level. If we take a professional athlete, for example, some of which have like the body of gods and extremely high amounts of lean muscle mass and low amounts of body fat, well, the BMI index will have some of them measure as very overweight or even obese. I don't really recommend putting too much importance on BMI. What about inches? Are your clothes fitting better? Are they getting tighter in the places you want them to be and looser where you'd like to have them be? Well, in my opinion, I think that measuring inches is a great way to see what's happening on your body. You can see if you're losing size in the areas that you want to lose size in. You can see if you're quote unquote toning muscles where you want to be. You can see changes over time, and it's super easy to implement and track. A tape measure is pretty cheap, right? You can find it on Amazon for a few bucks. And what I would do is I would keep a notes section in your phone and just keep track over time. I suggest if you're going to measure yourself, make it a bi-weekly routine, so every 2 weeks or even longer, and storing the results in your notes. You don't have to go overboard with it and do it every single week or even crazier every single day, but just to be able to track over time, bi-weekly or monthly, it's a great and easy and inexpensive way to see and track progress. Also, you could go by how you feel, right? This is where keeping a journal can be hugely beneficial. Tracking your energy levels, tracking your mood, tracking if you have less joint pain can be an amazing motivator, especially if you put a large awareness into these things. Yes, it does take time, and yes, it does mean you have to stop your super busy lifestyle and actually look within to essentially do a diagnostics check on your body. What I do is I use two apps, and they've helped me huge. The first app is called Day One Journal. For me, I've tried many, many times to have an actual physical journey that I sit down and write in, but I found that it just tends to sit on my bedstand and collect dust. I just haven't found a way to make myself make it a part of my routine, which is kind of frustrating. I know, but I know myself. What I do is I know that I have my phone with me 24/7. So I downloaded an app on my phone, and it's been a game changer. So Day One Journal, I've now logged over 200 days straight, and I've never been able to do more than like a week or two in a written journal. So I definitely highly recommend, if writing in a journal doesn't work for you, download the Day One Journal app. But of course, if you're someone that actually can write in a physical journal, that actually has been proven to be better, because writing something down pen to paper seems to have this releasing effect that other avenues like typing or texting don't entirely have. The second app that I use that I recommend is called Mood Notes. Now, this one I don't use quite as frequently, but I use it when I find an awareness that my mood is not where I want it to be, or when it's abnormally high or low. Like, have you ever had those days where you're just super frustrated and you can't seem to figure out why you're in a bad mood? Or those days that you're like, wow, I have this overwhelming feeling of joy and I don't have any idea why. Well, I usually notate this in the app, Mood Notes, and then I try to look through my Day One journal to see if I can find out maybe why this is. Was it the amount of sleep that I got? Was it the food that I ate? Was it someone that I was around that day that created that mood? Just bringing an awareness to how you feel can be an amazing metric to use towards your health goals. And plus, these feelings usually come fairly quickly after training. So it's not like building muscle or losing body fat. They occur fairly rapidly, and after a consistent routine has been established, you'll notice that your mood changes, and most of the time for the better. Another metric you can use is, has your sleep improved? Sleep might be one of the most underestimated factors to obtaining your health and fitness goal. If you could change one thing and only one thing in your life, sleep might be the one thing that you should focus on. Having said that, it is far easier said than done. What you might do is, when you start your fitness journey, track your sleep. Track how you feel upon awakening using a journal, or if you really want to get serious, you can purchase a sleep tracker. I can't recommend enough some sort of hybrid sleep or activity tracker, just to have an awareness of what's happening to your body over time. I used to use a Fitbit, which worked great, but it was a little cumbersome on my wrist when I was doing all these activities. So what I did was I purchased an Aura ring, Oura, Aura, and that has been by far one of the best activity trackers that I've ever used. It's a little pricey for a one-time purchase, but it's so low profile, it's so smooth, it's so easy, and I'm definitely not saying that you have to do it, but I think it really has helped me just have an awareness of what's going on. Any type of tracker will work, but just something that can tell you about how much you've moved during the day and about what kind of sleep quality you have been, that's, in my opinion, invaluable information towards getting you to where you want to be with your health. What's also cool is that these trackers, most of the time, tell you what your resting heart rate was that day, and it gives you an average over time. And this is also another metric you can use to see if you're getting healthier. The lower your resting heart rate becomes, the less work your heart is having to do, and the more fit and healthy your body is becoming. Another metric is your social network and support system commenting on your changes? It's so challenging for you to see changes in your body because you're too close to the project. You're there every second, and changes over time are really hard to see in yourself. So if you have people commenting on if you seem more vibrant or you seem happier, or even if they say you look great today, don't just brush those comments off. Receive them and understand that not only are they appreciating the work that you've been putting in, but you might also be motivating them to make changes in their own life. So don't minimize what kind of impact is being made during those short daily interactions with other people. Also, you can check your body fat percentage. Going back to the body fat percentage, this is one of my favorite ways to measure and track your progress to any kind of body composition goal. Whether you want to lose weight, gain muscle, tone up, whatever it is, I think measuring body fat percentage is a great metric to use. However, it has to be tested the right way. It needs to be done the same every single time. And it shouldn't be used so much as to have an absolute number, but instead it should be used to see changes over time. When you test your body fat, there is an error range of plus or minus a few percent of what your actual true body fat percentage is. If you can test the exact same way every single time, yes, it may not be your true number, but you will be able to see the actual changes from your previous results to your current ones. And that's where the real information is. You can take what you've done over that period of time and decide if those actions are taking you in the right direction. Now, the downside of body fat percentage is, of course, that it costs a lot and the challenge of accessibility. Very few people have a DEXA scan machine or a hydrostatic weighing dunk tank. And if you have access to them, they usually cost money. You also usually have to do them in the middle of the day, so it's hard to find consistency in your tests, which will increase the amount of variable in your results, like your body heat, your stress level, your nutrition, your hydration level. Even the skill required by the test administrator can all be variables to your body fat test results. You want those minimized, but if you do it in the middle of the day or if you have to go somewhere to get it done, then those variables increase. Now, there are some at-home scales that you can purchase, but most of them are pretty cheap, and of course, you get what you pay for. Some people are lucky enough to have in-body machines at their gym, which is fantastic. I highly recommend you take advantage of that if you're one of those people that have an in-body machine at your gym. Now, another metric that you can use is, are you getting any stronger? Is your performance improving at all? And this right here, in my opinion, is the greatest metric that you could be using. If you could only pick one metric that we've discussed, this would be the one, in my opinion. When you're training and you're using strength as a metric of success, it's an objective number. Like, am I lifting more this month than I lifted last month? Yes, great, awesome. That's easy to understand. If you focus strictly on appearance, strictly on aesthetics, you'll find that it tends to lead more toward a calorie restriction model, which in the short term may work, but in the long term, it could actually be doing more harm towards your body's metabolism by adapting to becoming a more efficient burning calorie machine, which if your goal is fat loss, and in this day of age where we can have anything we want at any time, you don't want an efficient metabolism. You actually want the opposite, an inefficient metabolism, or what people call a fast metabolism these days. And that's if you want to have a low body fat percentage, of course. This is where, if you're working on strength, you'll find that you're putting a higher demand on your muscular system, and muscle is a more expensive tissue to hold on to than fat or other soft tissue, which means that your body is working harder to maintain the tissue that you have, meaning that you're, in a sense, quote unquote, speeding up your metabolism. When you focus on strength and performance, you're also starting to feel more empowered in everyday life, especially when you can see it carry over into your everyday lifestyle. So, I used to have to ask the flight attendant to put my carry-on in the overhead compartment, and now I can do it easily myself. Or this bag of dog food used to be a huge hassle to carry upstairs to my apartment, but now I barely even breathe hard. Being more capable and self-reliant throughout life is an amazing feeling, especially if you've been incapable of certain activities for a long period of time, and now you can do them with more success. Also, if we're true to ourselves about fat loss goals, like why do you truly want to lose body fat? It'll most likely come down to a quality of life goal or a happiness or self-empowered goal. When you measure your strength and performance, you're cutting out the middleman, which is your fat loss goal, and you're really putting a more direct focus towards what your true why is. So, yes, body weight can be used as a metric for sure. It can be used by people who do not have an emotional attachment to it and just like to see changes of what's happening to them. If you have a general idea of what's going on, that's great. And using weight in conjunction with some of these other metrics can be super beneficial. However, for the majority of us, for a large percentage of this population, stepping on a scale after working out for a few weeks to see if your new workout routine is working, I believe it's an absolutely terrible idea. So now let's really recap and add some actionable items that we can do right now to help us get us to where we want to be. First action item is to understand that it takes time for the body to adapt. Be patient with yourself. You're an amazing organism. You are chemically and vibrationally complex. And where you are right now in this very moment with your health, you've gotten here through however many years old that you are. You have to be patient and know that you will get to where you want to be, but only by being empathetic with yourself, being understanding that there will be setbacks and roadblocks, and that there is no easy magic pill to get you there. First, do not restrict diet. This is added stress. Instead, eat a healthy, balanced meal, eat when you're hungry, and stop when you're full. Just be mindful. Enjoy your good nutrition, balanced whole food, and stop stressing and worrying about fat gain. Next, you need to sleep. If you want to read an amazing book to help you learn everything you could possibly want to know about getting better sleep, read Sleep Smarter by Sean Stevenson. Sleep Smarter by Sean Stevenson. This will tell you everything that you want to know. You need to put sleep near the top of your list when it comes to your priorities. I definitely recommend taking it to the next level and tracking your sleep somehow to see if what you're doing is making a difference. Again, I use the Oura Ring, but there are many other trackers out there. You also need to continue to exercise, but with smart, programmed, adequate rest through periodization. If you don't know how, which most people don't, I understand that, find a program out there that is right, just like Eat the Frog Fitness or having a personal trainer help you out. Rest is super important when it comes to your fitness goals. You got to de-stress, meditate, breath work, give yourself rewards for progress and sticking to your fitness goals that are de-stressing rewards, such as massages. Love getting a massage because it's a non-food related reward, but it's also helping me de-stress. You can take quiet time for yourself away from electronics, of course, by going on walks in nature, taking a bath, jumping in a sauna. De-stress, so important. You can also start journaling, like we said, using some sort of outlet to get your emotions and experiences out. But the biggest thing for us to do for sure is just to be patient. It's going to take time. Your body has to respond to this new lifestyle. It has to understand the new processes in the body. Instead of all this storing that we've been doing, now we're telling it to burn. It's going to take time for the body to change those biological pathways and those habits. It takes time to build, making the stuff that you eat and you put in your body into the muscles that you use for your movement. So when you're measuring your progress, use a variety of tools. You don't have to use just one, but don't just use your weight. That's one of the worst things you can measure if you're looking for your body fat loss goals. Instead, use the measure tape to measure your targeted areas: stomach, butt, legs. Measure your strength and increase in performance. Measure your body fat percentage, but be smart how you do it. Be consistent with how you measure. I recommend doing it at the beginning of your day while you're fasted, while you haven't done any physical activity, while there are fewer variables to account for. And remember, it doesn't have to be completely accurate. It just has to be reliably consistent so you can see the changes over time. I heard this awesome quote. When it comes to fat loss goals, most people overestimate how hard it's going to be, but they underestimate how long it's going to take. So again, most people overestimate how hard it's going to be. It is pretty simple if we really boil it down, but they underestimate how long it's going to take. They think it's going to be really fast, when in fact, it's a long process. You don't have to beat yourself up. What you do have to be is consistent over the long term and disciplined in your training. It's got to be a lifestyle change for you. Do not compare yourself to others. Those people that have had super awesome success stories, those people aren't you. There are so many other factors, and everything in health and fitness and nutrition is individualized. That person that you are looking at could have more fat to lose. Their entire life's previous lifestyle choices could have them set up for the weight loss that they experienced. You have no idea what they've been through or what they've consumed, what stresses they have in their life, or what their previous recovery techniques or current recovery techniques have been. And even if you could learn all of that, you are still not them and they are still not you. What you should be doing is you should be finding the joy in the process of learning about your body. You should be proud of what your hard work has gotten you. Understand that this is your lifestyle choices that have gotten you to where you are now. So stop blaming genetics, stop blaming bone structure, and take responsibility for where you are. And in turn, you can be super pumped on the hard work that you've put in and be excited that what you put in is what you're going to get out. You're in control, and you can get to any fitness goal you have with the right mindset, the long-term consistency, the support systems that you build, the amount that you educate yourself. Oh, and yeah, good old-fashioned hard work. You got this, team, and I'm right here for you if you need me. Never hesitate to reach out or ask me for help or guidance. Reach out to me to brag about your successes or to vent about your struggles. I'm here for you. You have the power to do whatever you put your mind to, but you don't have to do it alone. You got this. Stay away from body obsessions. You're trying to create lifelong healthy behaviors and also create a good relationship with your body and exercise. So make a small change today. Create a habit with that small change, and once that habit is formed, make another small change. Over time, the progress you're going to see with that strategy will be unimaginable. All right, Dream Team, that's it for today. Please share with me any knowledge, thoughts, or questions you may have on today's topic. I'll make sure to answer and discuss on the next episode. You can ask your questions in the comments section or message me on any of the social media platforms. Also, I would be so thankful if you shared this episode with any of your friends or family that may be able to benefit from today's podcast. I would love it if you could do me a solid and screenshot this podcast and share it on your social media platforms and just write one takeaway, one aha moment that you got from this episode. This will help me know what's really valuable to you, and so I can keep the good information coming. And it also lets your network know if this podcast is worth a listen to them. Thank you so much for listening and learning here with us on the Livin the Dream podcast. We are so grateful for you being a part of this lifelong learning journey. If you have any topics you'd like to discuss, please let us know in the comments or by messaging me on Instagram at CoachDamian_SD. Be kind to someone today, smile at someone today, and leave every person you come into contact with better than before. Until next time, friends, keep living the dream.